Okay, so today I'm going to be showing how to render Houdini landscapes using Redshift and get the sort of like color visualizations come through. So I'll be doing kind of going over this setup from scratch. Switch over to fresh window. So for this, we'll just start with, I think the valley, terrain valley, and this will just kind of give us this initial setup. Let's lower the amplitude some, and the element size a little bit, depending on what we want. And then got these. We got this height field road. You can see it's already adding some colors from this visualization. Let's see. I think then let's if we play this, you go to frame 20, and we'll freeze it there. Get some water. And after I set up the initial shader, I will also show how to kind of use the erosion along with the Dune solver for kind of converting the debris into loose sand. Yeah, anyway. And then I'll do the initial setup right now. So we got our terrain, we got our visualize, and then the main thing, I find it the most useful to convert the height field to geometry to send it to Redshift. I know there's like other ways where you can feed it the height field as textures, I believe, but this just seems like the easiest way to me. It can take a little bit depending on how high resolution your height field is to convert it, but not too bad. And then let's do a camera, something like that, and let's drop down a Redshift light dome, and maybe add like a little rotation, and pick a dome map. I got these from HDR Haven. They're pretty nice. You can download them in all sorts of different resolutions, 2K and 8K, and if you're using them for reflections, I recommend getting the 8K. Definitely helps a little bit. So got all that set up, and then I will show you what the Redshift is looking like, and you will see that it is just white right now. And we're also getting our background in here. So we'll make a Redshift material. And then what we need to do is we have those, if you look at the geometry spreadsheet for our terrain here, you can see the colors in the points, and that's by default big point colors. So you can just use that straight from the points. You can also move it into the vertexes, which depending on your, oops, let me save. I kind of like moving it to the vertexes, but so you can just do an attribute promote. Just because if you move it to the vertexes, then each polygon can have like totally unique colors. So that can be useful for other things later. So original class is point, and then it's CD. You can see that goes away there, and now we have the CD attribute in the vertexes. Still don't have it here. Let's go turn off the background here, and go up to our material. So this will be our landscape material. And we want to get the vertex attributes. And so you can see RS vertex attribute. And if you want to keep them as points, there's also a RS point attribute. Either way works well. I'm going to do CD for the name for the vertexes, plug that in there. And you'll see it hasn't updated yet because we need to assign this. I don't think I can just, yeah. We need to assign this to the object. So let's pick the material. And now we get pink. And that is actually, sometimes this happens where if you update a lot of stuff and you have this, you've left this running, you just like want to hit the refresh, and there you go. And let's tweak our material a little bit. They come in by default like full shiny. Make them like a lot more rough, maybe 5. And I like to put this on metal, and this just doesn't really matter, but just because I'm used to Unreal now. And there you go, you got your point colors in Redshift. Doesn't look too pretty yet, but we will fix that. Let's go back to objects. Let's add a ground plane. Well, no, we'll refine this first. So what we're going to do now is we'll do a resample and resample this. And let's turn off the Redshift, because as soon as you go back to it being a height field, like Redshift won't be able to render this on the side. You have to have it convert again. So we're going to resample it. It's like triple the resolution. Let's do another road. And let me back up my frame so it doesn't try and start right away. Let's maybe freeze at frame 10. And yeah, let's see. Oop. What's going on? Oh, we need to show it up here. So you can see this is up here now. So this will kind of refine our terrain a little bit. And yeah, let's freeze at frame 10. And actually, let's make the removal rate. You can make this negative, and it will sort of like build up more debris. The hydro erosion basically means like where it's carving away the rock, the sand that's created is less dense than the rock, the debris that's created. And we're going to use that because we're also going to go in here and advanced, layers. Here we go. Add debris layer to final height layer. We're going to remove that because we're going to use the debris and have the debris become sand. So we're going to do copy layer. And what we're going to do with this now is, here, let me show you what these like layers are looking like right now out of here. So we got the the height layer, obviously. We got water, debris, and so the erosion node like generates all of these layers, which is really nice. So we're going to use those to drive where the sand is. Primarily, we're going to take the debris and copy that to a sand layer. And then we're also going to take the height and copy that to the bedrock layer. Because otherwise the bedrock layer will, I believe the bedrock layer retains the original shape that we fed it. So it doesn't have the carve outs in it, which maybe we want. And then we're going to do a, let's drop down another visualize so we can get rid of this green kind of color. And I have a preset saved here, Desert Dunes, that kind of gives it a little bit more of a desert feeling. And compute range, and there we go. We got a little bit of a desert colors going. And here I'll plug this back into the Redshift so we can see how that's going. And one interesting thing too I find in Houdini is like sometimes it will look more low res as a height field than it does once it's converted. Sometimes that's not the case, but sometimes that seems like it's the case. I don't know, maybe there's a maximum volume thing I need to look into, but just FYI. So now let's see how this is looking over here in Redshift. That's looking a little better. Maybe we want to turn this cool. So now I will show you how to, actually it's like looking a little bit too shiny, I think still. Let's just go full roughness. There we go. I'm going to make another material too for a ground plane while I'm in here. Or like a floor, if you're doing that kind of display. And we'll also increase the roughness a bunch. Oops. Oopsie. I accidentally closed my scene view. Nope, not scene view. I want tree view. No. What is that viewer called? No, network view. There we go. So yeah, let's drop a plane. It's like a grid in. There we go. Pick our material. There we go. Now we got a nice little floor. And then I will show you how to get the sand like simulating. Let's turn off Redshift so it's not trying to render anymore. Go back to our scene view and go back to our height field version here and drop down a Dune solver. And this is the one that's available on Orbolt if you care to get it. Oops. I always forget to rewind to the beginning, the first frame. Then you get this like lag, but should come back in just a sec. There we go. And now, if we play, it will automatically blow in the positive X direction. So even if you don't feed it wind, you'll still get some sand dune motion. Yeah. One thing we can do too, if we wanted more sand than this, we can drop down a simple volume wrangle. There's probably a way to do it with the built-in Houdini like layer nodes for terrains, but this works well too. Sand, so we can do sand. I don't know. Equals the sand times 3. Now we got 3 times the sand. And now if we simulate this, we should get some sand formation, some dune formation happening. And then we can just feed that back into our convert height field and color promote. And now if we go back into our Redshift render, There we go, got some sand dunes. And that's basically it. You can do your exposure control a little bit here. Redshift. And yeah, I hope that was helpful. There's a bunch more like fancy things you can do. Like if you want to have different, this is kind of just good for visualization. If you're like really rendering terrain for production, what you probably want to do is use the vertex colors to drive different materials. And so you would like do a Redshift like kind of material mix setup and use the vertex attributes for that. And you might not even want to use color. One neat thing is the points will actually store their value, which is kind of nice. So you can see here in the geometry spreadsheet, they're storing like, for example, this like sand value. So you can even say like, hey, if you want to have, a rougher material or a material with a texture for the sand, you can do a RS layer, I think it's called. Anyway, you can basically have this sand value. You can bring in the sand here and have this sand. It would be a scalar in this case. Have the scalar drive like a blend between two values. You could even do it in here. Like break this out and do like a mix. I think it's RS mix or RS color mix. So you could do, plug this in to the mix amount, and then you could have your, roughness value for when there's no sand and roughness value for when there is sand. And I mean, because the sand is, you'd probably want to remap this value, between 1 and 0 for a mix. But anyway, I hope that helps anyone out there wondering how to render terrains with Redshift and Houdini. Oh, one other thing actually I wanted to show, which is how to get like kind of a nice skirt, I don't know, thickness to your terrain. So this can take a little bit if your terrain is big, but you can just drop down a extrude, like a poly extrude. Where did that go? Oh, went up here. And drop down poly extrude, put right here. Let me show you in the viewport. And what you want for the poly extrude is to, and this will automatically sort of like just get the edges. Smooth shade. And so and then do transform extruded front. And what you want to do is put this on global and put the scale to 0. And this will kind of flatten the extrusion. And you'll see that in a little bit. There we go. So, but as you can see, it's like a little bit reversed. So what we do is do output. Don't output the front. We want to output the back, which is sort of what was there. And then we also want to set a side group so that we can color the sides separately. So you see now we have these nice sides, and now what you can do is do a color node after that, and I don't know, set this like low, and put this to vertex since that's what we were using. And we gotta set the group to the extrude sides. And now, if we go back to Redshift, we should get nice sides on here. Like my camera not being straight bugs me. So all this is, oh wait, what's happening? We are not getting the sides. Oh, maybe I need Something has gone wrong. We have the sides there. Sides here. I wonder if they're reversed. So if you go into Houdini display settings, you can go into optimize and say remove back faces. Ah, that is the problem. So, well, maybe it's not the problem, but that is, they are reversed. So we might as well reverse them. Reverse them back. Let's just put that right there. There we go. Yeah, this is display. It's under optimization for, it's funny, remove back faces. Helpful, especially if you're doing game stuff and you need to make sure that your polygons are pointed the right way. Still not getting, oh, maybe we are getting the edges. Maybe they're just so dark that we're not seeing them. Let's make them a little brighter. Because these are attributes like stored in the geometry, you might sometimes have to, oh, no, that worked. Oh yeah, that was the problem. You might sometimes have to like refresh it. It seems to work pretty well though. Maybe it was that was an older version I'm thinking of. Yes, I don't like that this is not straight though. There we go. There we go. And yeah, that's it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully